It's sunny again, day again, everyone. It's me, your intergalactic sun prince of the sun, Enyou Solaris to Moshimas. You can also call me Sol or Solaris. That is also acceptable. Today, we are concluding Pride Month. This is the last day of Pride Month. I know it's crazy. June only has 28 days in it. I thought there was at least one more thing that had another month in it that had 28 days left. But this is the last thing I'm planning to do for Pride Month, because we did that discussion. We did the Yuri discussion, and then we did the Pride Month podcast, and then also Star Fox kind of counts. But this is the end of the gay furry arc, as I called it in the schedule that I put out. This one, hold on, this one. That just so happened to include, cause like this month, just because Star Fox releasing and Pride Month, it just ended up being like we played Star Fox games and talked about gay stuff, so it's the gay furry arc. And yes, I know what you're saying. Isn't every arc the gay furry arc where you're in charge? Listen, you know how like in Bleach, like the Soul Society, it had like the Soul Society arc that was a batch of like 40 episodes, but the Soul Society continued to be like a relevant location throughout the entirety of Bleach before and after that arc. Yeah, it's kind of something like that. Anyway, we are concluding the current gay furry arc by talking about Ganbare Nakamura-Kun, or Go For It Nakamura-Kun. If you need me to explain what Kun is, get out of here. This is not the stream for you. I'm not here to teach day one weebs. I'm being spicy. Because this was a Tevin recommendation, and Tevin isn't even here, and also I don't have a lot to say about this show, so we're stalling for time. We're stalling for time. Well, no, it's fine if it's like short. It's after Bloom Into You, I am 100% okay with watching and talking about a light slice of life comedy anime, okay? Because that's what this is. So I'm 100% a-okay. It's just that, again, it makes it awkward for these anime discussions because I don't have a lot to say. But again, after that insanity that was Bloom Into You, you know what? It's just a simple, funny life slice of life boy story is fine. It is okay. I'm a-okay with that. Meow, 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 meow. I do have notes. It's not a lot of notes. It is, I think, 1,000 words compared to Bloom Into You, which was 3,000 words. So you know, if I can stop stalling, we could get this under an hour. We could get the VOD under an hour. Think about it. Yeah, anyway, the show's hella gay. So it stars, this is our main protagonist, Nakamura-Kun. And the show is, and he is in love with a classmate, not her. Get her out of the way. Get her out of the way. Get this hetero slop out of here. Him, who is Hirose. And basically the whole show, like, Nakamura-kun is like horribly, madly has a huge boy crush on Hirose. Not just like, you know, he says it over and over and over again about how much he loves Hirose, but also like the animation, like the directing also makes, like, you know, they have the sparkles around him when he does a little smile, and like the music get all sweetie lovey. So like it's really good at, like, you know, being gay. And you know, speaking of gay, these screenshots are out of order. I usually fix those. but the show does actually use the word gay, like gay. See, gay is one of those loan words that, like, it sounds perfect. It sounds perfect because it's just G-E-I instead of G-A-Y. Gay. Anyway, that's your Japanese lesson for the day. That's your second Japanese lesson for the day. Is that Japan, I mean, obviously, you know, trans, bi, gay, all existed before the words existed. But a lot of, like, traditional terms to refer to queer people in Japanese are very, 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 very old and very, 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 very offensive. So, in modern day, people just kind of either talk around it, like, oh yeah, he's the type of guy who falls in love with other guys, or they just use the loan word gay and stuff. Gay and Toranzu? I think it's Toranzu. I know. Here's our third Japanese lesson of the day. Transgender. Toranzu gender. And the first two syllables, Tora, for trans. Tora. Tora can also mean tiger. So oftentimes, if you ever see a tiger be used to represent transgender people in Japan, that's why. There's your history lesson. In English speaking places, we got Blaha, and in the Japan they got a tiger. Different methods, same conclusion. Have funny little animal represent trans people. Anyway. Not important, but yeah, so a lot of modern Japanese uses either, like, talks around it, or just uses loan words like gay, bi, toranzu, gender, stuff like that. So there you go, there's your, and this show actually does use those terms. Also later they use, bi too. So no bi erasure, woo. Which is not, like, super uncommon, but it is relatively rare for a anime to just directly say, yeah, hey, what's up, nice to meet you, I'm gay. Because usually they'll, like, won't say it at all, or like talk around it very vaguely. So this already off to a good start. That's like the end of episode 1, by the way. I messed up my notes. Okay. But yeah, I could go through a little episode 1's thingy-mabobbers. This is the opening. We'll talk about the opening in a second. Okay, fine. This is a good icon. This is a good picture. No. We will, after I finish my... Here, we'll just do that. We'll just do that. I'm still trying to... Listen, this is not like a conventional anime for me to talk about, because it's like, what is this show about? It's just a fun slice of life, like, boys love anime, and it's funny, and I like it. There, end of stream. Hope you all enjoyed. But yeah, I do have notes. But yeah, I also like the brand of humor that it has, where most of the show takes place in Nakamura's head. Be gone, bot! Okay. Most of the show takes place in Nakamura's head, and a lot of the comedy is like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be all stylish and go up to Hirose and be like, yo, what's up? How's it going? You wanna go on a date? And then he actually goes to it. He actually goes to do it in reality, but he's actually like super shy and awkward and ruins it anyway. So we have a lot of like that comedy. Like he's playing up things in his head and then reality happens and it's not what he expected. And that's basically like the comedy loop for like the entire show. And it works really well because Nakamura-Kun is a fun, silly character, and seeing him have high expectations but not having them not go well, but they still go somewhat okay, makes for just a funny, good, wholesome comedy loop. The animation also really like sells the comedy. I feel like it's definitely like one of those things where like the animation gets less impressive the later it is, but especially the first couple of episodes. Well, it's just in the midsection where I feel like the show could have done a little bit better with its animation. But for most of the show, the animation also really like sells the comedy. Like lots of silly animation and like art style changes, where like, you know, he's reading a manga and then all of a sudden it's like a manga from like Fooly Cooly and stuff like that. Goes into alternate other art styles, and then like plays a lot of the like emotional roller coaster that Nakamura-Kun goes through is portrayed via lots of crazy and silly animation. Like this, where he's talking about when he first met Hirose, he blushes and then a heart hole opens up below him and he falls into it. It's like silly stuff like that. Also, the opening is a certified banger. Like it was one of those, like you think for like, oh, a slice of life comedy anime, you think the opening wouldn't be like super impressive, but like it's kind of a bop. I don't know what you're saying. Look it up. It's kind of a bop. It was one I definitely never wanted to skip it, and I did clap along with the opening a couple times. I also like the board game visuals that it has. I don't know what's up with the board game visuals, but kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's supposed to like represent him like navigating this perilous thing, and he steps on like traps and bad things happen. Like here, he stepped on a thing. I don't recognize. I'm gonna be listen. I know I'm Japanese N3. I'm supposed to be Nihongo Jozu. I don't know what the fudge this says. Fu R something something ASHI. Furiashi. I don't know what the fudge that means. But he steps on it and then it like flings him upwards. And also, okay, you know, remember last time how I complimented Bloom into You for not spoiling like doing the opening in episode 1? Yeah, this does the opening in episode 1. So you have like, who the fudge are you people? Who the fudge are you people? Who the fudge are you? You don't even show up till episode 7. Who the fudge are you? You don't even show up till episode 8. Who the fudge are you? You don't show up until the like last episode. Like, what the fudge? Oh yeah, the opening also has like a good like fall where it gets all like quiet and dark and scary, and then it has a last like bright, happy, cheery end. Opening's a banger, but being pressured to be here. Hey, Tevin finally showed up. What's up? You have officially earned back your anime recommendation privileges. You can't just trick me into watching you can't just trick me into doing an anime discussion of an anime I have nothing to say about and then not actually be here for the stream. That's effed up. That's effed up is what it is. Anyway, I was just talking about the opening, how the opening is a certified banger and extremely catchy. And then the last thing I wanted to say about for the spoiler-free intro is I have no idea what this show's obsession with octopuses are. I guess they're like a mascot, but like they show up like everywhere. Like they're all in the opening. They're like in backgrounds. Like several episodes revolve around octopuses. The main character has an octopus as a pet. Like halfway through, there's like a character development that happens because of octopuses. Like octopuses. I don't know, man. But like, yeah, it's kind of, I guess the show wanted to have like a mascot, but like even in the opening, like they're here cheering for Nakamura in the ending, and then they're also like here in the dark scary part, and then they're in the background in this shot, and then in an earlier scene you can see them on coins during the shot in the opening. It's like, why there's what's it like? Listen, I know, like, yeah, the main character has an octopus as a pet. Octopus are important to the plot, quote unquote. But like, what's up? What's up? Why does this show have such a big obsession about octopuses? I don't get it. I like how Devin made one comment just so he could claim to be here and then left. That's crazy. You get a 3-month ban on recommending anime to watch. Not indefinite, but definitely a 3-month ban. Because if I have to talk about anime with no live viewers, then I might as well talk about something I have things to say about. I don't even think it's a double meaning joke. Yeah, taco just doesn't. There's not a whole lot of like puns with taco, other than taco can mean octopus or kite, but they don't even do that. They don't even make that pun. There's no octopus kite, there's no taco in the entirety of the thing. Also, I take it back, you only get a 2-month ban on anime recommendations. But yeah, I guess I'll go through the opening one more time. But yeah, I like the board game aesthetic. I like how they have the clap for the beat of the song. That's a fun time. I like the board game aesthetic. I like how they show the Japanese title and then at the end they show the English title. Go for it, Nakamura-Kun. I like how they keep the kun in both versions of the opening. And then the coin where he's like making a peace sign with a heart and he's just making a peace sign. And more octopuses. I love how on beat the opening is. Opening was like something I never skipped. Like for slice of life shows, I do usually end up skipping the opening. But like for this one, I was just like, you know what? It's just too much of a bop. Sometimes for some of the weaker episodes, the opening was the best part of the show. And also the ending themes. Like this show also has like unique ending themes for every single episode, so it has 13 different ending themes for all 13 episodes. And like, why they didn't need to do that, but they did it. It's just a very like high quality, like it's nice that we can have like a very high quality, high effort slice of life boys love show. And yeah, these characters that don't appear until like halfway through the series. And then these characters that don't appear until a couple episodes in. And then this person who doesn't appear until like appears once in episode like 7. This person who appears like twice. This one who's not even in the show until like the last episode. I have something to say about the ending theme, especially one of them. We'll get to it. The main discussion might just be me going through the screenshots being like, that was a good moment, I like that moment, that was a fun moment. I also like the swag, not the swag, the drip that they have here. And he's like dancing to the background, and then it has like the fall where like he's sinking into the muck, and then there's a light, and then it explodes for the final core. Like, I know I'm not a music person, but so I can't say a whole lot about it, but you get the idea. Anyway, that was your spoiler-free intro. And that was most of my notes. Because that was 200 of 1,000 of my notes. Because again, for most of the series, for most of the show, it's just like, that was fun, I like that, that was fun, oh, that was a little boring, oh, that was a good joke, ha ha ha. There's some things that happen. There are definitely some things that happen. There are at least 2 pivotal character development moments that happen. But like, you know, and I'm compared to like Bloom Into You, which has like 13 character developments happening every half episode. But again, I do like you know, being able to, especially after, I should make this chat a little smaller. You can, one message is barely being on screen. Because especially after Bloom Into You, I feel this was a nice break after that. Because listen, I love very complex, deep, thinky shows, but I need a break every once in a while. Oh yeah, also this anime has an old art style. That was one thing we can talk about in the spoiler-free intro. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea why the creator went for the old anime art style. I love anime characters with big bangs. Yeah, I appreciate it. Why? Because it made it look like, you know how like a bunch of like old anime is getting like remakes, like Urusei Yatsura, Ranma 1/2. Like it almost looks like one of those like remakes of a really old manga, but the manga's from like, I want to say like 2020. Like this decade. This anime literally just finished airing June 18th, like 10 days ago. And the manga started 2014 to 2016. So that manga isn't even ongoing at the time of this anime playing, so like, that's weird. That's a weird. But yeah, 2014, like 10 years ago. It's very Rumiko Takahashi, yeah? They're like, hey, what if I was, I want to write a Rumiko Takahashi story, but like really gay. Oh yeah, and one last thing I'll say in the spoiler-free intro. I know the manga author like left the internet because they were being harassed so often because the story was controversial. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was nothing. Unless some crazy shit happens later in the manga, there was literally nothing. This is the most wholesome gay show I've ever seen in my entire life. It might just be the case of people don't like gay, or people who don't like gay are being hypercritical of a show because it's gay. You know that thing that happens? It's not like outwardly homophobic, but it is like being more critical to a show just because it's gay. That can happen also with people who aren't homophobic, just like people having extremely high standards for like not just like representation in anime and stuff like that. If we combine our powers, do you think we can will an Inuyasha remake into existence? I think Yashahime is the most that we're gonna get. I don't. Unless it's like a from the ground. Oh no! Ground up remake. And I feel like, I mean, I would say this about a lot of anime, old anime, but like, the original still holds up. It's a vibe. I like the new animation of Ranma, and I like the lack of filler episodes. Did the original Inuyasha even have any filler episodes? Because I feel like the entire show was a filler. Inuyasha filler list. Okay, there's a couple. There's a couple. There's a couple. Out of 193 episodes, 35 are filler. I would have guessed half the effing series was filler. But it just says that 35 episodes had filler, according to a quick Google search. And according to animefillerlist.com, has a low filler percentage of 18% of filler. So it definitely had filler, but not a lot of filler. Compared to like Ranma 1/2 and whatnot, that definitely had a lot of filler. But going back to why this show looks like this, I don't know, man. But I like it, because old anime art style. Because the thing about like the difference between like anime and video games is like old anime like looks like that because it's good. Like old anime holds up like way better. There's no like, sure, like technology got different and the like digital art happened and blah blah blah, but like that's just a different way of stylizing a thing. It's not necessarily like you can't have like more pixels or more like polygons in an anime. Like it can just look different. That's all it can do. And you can also say the same thing about video games. That's why old school pixel graphics and low poly stuff is making a comeback. But I would say especially for anime, like the old art style, it just because it's old, it doesn't mean it's like outdated. The many episodes of Shippo getting a crush were definitely filler episodes. Did you trick me into doing an Inuyasha podcast? That's crazy. But yeah, old anime art style good. We should bring it back more, and I like that it's being brought back in this kind of way. The hair colors are pretty old anime. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of like the only one who has an odd hair color is this girl who has a blue hair color. Like that is the most out there hair color that we have. We have pretty normal shades of black and brown. Like even Hirose like gets like later in the series gets like comments about his hair and how it's a crazy hair color. and like you see him, that's a relatively normal hair color. I definitely see as a dye job on the blue girl, yeah. Before anime crazy hair colors just became commonplace. Anyway, that is now the official end of the spoiler-free section. Let's get into talking about the effing show. And hey, I can make this over an hour. If I keep stalling, I can definitely get this stream to be longer than an hour. Should I say episode? Is it episode 1 to episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4? Or episodes 1 to 4? What is better? What is more grammatically correcter? Rumiko Takahashi started Crazy Colors on anime. I could definitely see it. I think it's just more of it was a trend. Like isekai, like episode, you think? I think they're both grammatically correct, but maybe this one is more grammatically correcter. We'll change it to episodes. For you, Tevin. Just for you. Winking smiley face emoji. Because, yeah, I'm talking about multiple episodes. Where I just say episode 1 to episode 4 sounds like way too formal. That's the thing about writing. You just kind of, that's the thing about language. You just kind of have to get a knack for it. Just a general feel. Anyway, the entire first episode is just Nakamura trying to talk to Hirose and failing. Because at the very beginning of the series, like, they have not even, like, they're classmates. Like, it starts, like, at the very beginning of the first year of high school. And we just moved to the school and just got a crush on Hirose and fell into this heart hole that I talked about earlier. But, like, they haven't even, like, had a proper conversation. So there's times, so the entire first episode is just trying to like say, hey, how's it going? You're Hirose, right? I'm Nakamura. Nice to meet you. At first, like, and it's a slow process. Cause first they just make eye contact, and then he says one word to him before finally having a full conversation. But again, it's funny because the comedy in the show is good. Like he thinks of a plan like, hey, what's up, Hirose? You wanna go on a date? And Hirose's like, ah, sure. And then he's like, haha, I'll do that, just that. And he goes to do it, and then he's like, nope, I'm not doing it, I'm too nervous. Hirose's like, what's up with this guy that keeps trying to walk up to me and then running away? Like, what's up with that? Although Hirose's like super chill, so like even later, like Hirose is completely oblivious to Nakamura's affections and doesn't mind that Nakamura's just like a weird. He just sees Nakamura as like a weird, quirky little guy, which I appreciate a lot. He's like, oh, I'll give you the handkerchief, and he's like, I'm gonna do that, and then he drops the handkerchief and he goes to pick it up and accidentally steps on it. And then this is where he has his little octopus friend. And look, octopus on the little shelf over here. It's not, there's octopus imagery everywhere in this effing show, I swear. I also like the little detail that he has the octopus trapped in there with like bricks and tape, because octopuses are very good at escaping. So that's kind of what he has to do. And the octopus still escapes at one point. And then he imagines what life might be with Hirose as a husband wife. And they have like a little cooking class. And then they find a little octopus, and the octopus in the cooking class. So they're having a cooking class, and then they just find a bunch of octopuses in a sink. And I'm like, why are there so many goddamn octopus in this show? And I don't know, it might just be me, but it looks like the octopus is making a little heart with his tentacles. Is it just me? Am I thinking too hard about it? But Nakamura's like, oh my gosh, octopus, they're so cute. Because that's a thing that he has, is that he thinks octopuses are so goddamn cute, but everyone else is grossed out by them. It's definitely supposed to be a heart shape. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who sees it. But everyone else is grossed out by octopuses. But Hirose is like, oh hey, you know, now you get a close look. Maybe octopuses aren't that gross. And then Hirose almost kills the octopus by giving it fresh water instead of salt water. And then the teacher comes in and they're like, don't look at the octopus, we don't want to cook the octopus. But no, they were just for a science class. That's not a thing, by the way. You can't just bring in live octopuses into a effing school for a science lesson. That's not a thing you could do. Somebody also definitely gets inked. I don't know if I have a screenshot of it, but it was funny. I love that they say out loud that Nakamura is gay. I talked about that during the spoiler-free intro. But yeah, it is very rare for anime to like outright say, like at the end of episode 1, Nakamura's like, hey, I'm just a regular guy, I'm very shy and very gay. Like he outright says the Japanese loan word gay. Which yeah, it's very rare for anime to like directly say that a character is gay. They usually like talk in circles around it, like, oh yeah, he's the type of guy who is interested in other guys, stuff like that. But here they just say, like, they use like the new age loan words, because there are traditional Japanese words for things like gay and transgender, but they are A, very, very old, and B, very, very, very offensive. I don't think this might be a yaoi, but I was very happy about it. Sometimes yaoi BL can be real stupid about it, especially back in the day, yeah. Because, like, that's another thing that Yuri sometimes has a problem with, too, is, like, the genre is not necessarily, like, indicative of, like, real, like, relationships. Because Yuri can mean, like, I know the definition of, like, Yuri can encompass both, like, sapphic relationships, but also, just deep relationships, like platonic relationships between two women. And I'm assuming yaoi and BL has that same problem. But here they just outright say, like, Nakamura has a crush on Hirose, he is in love with him, he is gay. Like, outwardly, like, it is not vague in the absolute slightest. And yes, that is my VTube studio crashed. Or just, like, closed itself for no reason. Hold on. I'm just stuck in time. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. This also still might be in episode 1. I don't think we're past episode 1. But yeah, they end up having a full conversation by the end of episode 1 because of the octopus. So, like, the octopus brought them together, I guess. I don't know. Why is the show so obsessed with octopus? Like, sure, I get that you want a little mascot, but, like, why does every single plot development have to be about octopus? They'll do the thing where they write one of the guys to be in love with just this one guy and not the male gender in general, yeah. Which, again, that's also a byproduct of, like, a lot of anime being, like, a coming-of-age story, so that might just be, like, a discovering your sexuality, because I'm going to use the word heteronormativity, implies that, is instilled upon people at a very young age. And so everyone just assumes that they're straight, and then if they run into an exception, they're like, okay, this is just an exception, there's no way I'm gay, and that's realization, like, comes later. Because of heteronormativity propaganda. Anyway, I could go on a whole... Let's go on a rant! Let's go on a rant about this! Let's go on a rant about this. I was like, I don't have time to go on a big rant about that right now, but you know what? Let's go. I could. That's all I had to say, though. That's all I had to say, though. Is that society is set up in a way that puts the people in power, and those people in power want to stay in power, and they do that by pushing this agenda and shoving people into the closet. Because there's 100%, like, people know that, like, you can't just, like, stop being trans or stop being gay. But, so the goal is to, like, push you into the closet and hide it so they can keep up their status quo where they're the ones in power. And that propaganda bleeds into not just those in power, but, like, everyone that's been endued into the system. So I think, anyway, going back to Tevin's original point, I think that's why a lot of anime stories, especially about younger characters, since anime tends to be about younger characters, is a lot about, like, working on breaking those, like, conditionings, those, like, internalized homophobia that has been installed from a young age. Is like, okay, I can't be gay, but I just like this one person. Like, this is just an exception. I'm not actually, that's that kind of stuff. I'm gonna show you a clip of a series I watched where they used that line about the gay thing. I can't remember what episode it's from. No, I 100% believe you. I 100% believe you. I think Bloom into You also did that. Although Bloom into You had a lot of things going on. Characters didn't know what the fuck they were talking about in that fucking show. So Nakamura-Kun being, you know, just into high school and already like knowing like A, what gayness is, and B, knowing that he is 100% in fact gay and that is an identity that he identifies with, is shows, I guess, some level of introspection and maturity for the character, but also just like, this is why media like this is important, because it breaks that kind of heteronormativity idea, and that, like, you know, that's why it's important for shows to normalize being gay and trans and whatnot, just because, like, to undo all of that propaganda from the past like 3 billion years of human history. Anyway, squids. I mean octopuses. Yahweh's a priority made by women for women. Not saying they're sexually out loud is not saying their sexuality out loud is weird, so they're saying there's a chance moment. That's another thing. That's also a problem that's happens in real life too, of, like, you know, the homophobes being like, oh, you're just a lesbian because you haven't found the right man yet, like, which is some crazy ass homophobia. But yeah, I think and they do talk about that a little bit. There's like girls that like ship boys here, but like it's also like a lot of like, yeah, straight women who are shipping boys and also not being super serious about it because, like, oh, they're gonna end up with me one day. Like, this is just a fun little fling. Like, I think one girl literally like is like, hey, keep flirting with Hidose and I'll date you. Like, what the fuck? That's kind of fucked up. Maybe the show should be canceled. But no, it's mostly done in like a playing, mocking tone. But yeah, it's definitely there's a problem. There's definitely a lot of both Yuri and Yaoi and Boys Love written by a variety of different gendered people that definitely are super serious about it. Like, you know, Yuri on Ice, or I'm in love with the villainess. You know, any story that ends with the characters getting married and having babies. Adopting babies, maybe, rather. Losing my shit when Dark Blue Kiss, the Thai series, was actually about the queer existence, yeah. But again, isn't that anime also kind of has a problem where, not a problem, but like, the thing about anime is that, like, it uses metaphors and analogies and allegories a lot of the time. So I know, especially with transgender and the genre gender bending, I talked about this a little bit in the Kemfer discussion last year, but like, is all gender bender also about the trans experience, or is it just supposed to be a fun interesting thought experiment, and a fun interesting thought experiment can lead to awakenings in the viewer even if the show itself is not explicitly about the trans experience? I don't know, like, sometimes it depends. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know if I would consider, even though Kemfer was my awakening, I don't know if I would consider Kemfer about the trans experience, because throughout that show, the main character still views themselves as a guy, as opposed to, like, other series. It's also hard to talk about this without spoiling it, but other series where the character is more fluid in their gender. I would say Ranma a little bit. Ranma has a little bit of the main character like being very fluid with their perception of their own gender, despite the fact of what gender they actually are. See, I should have known that. Even if I could make this about gender, I could yap for several hours. I love that they don't necessarily go for the same uke designs for Nakamura and Hirose, which Yaoi has back in the day and pretty bad about. I don't know a lot about your Yaoi backstory, but yeah, they don't have big giant Yaoi hands. And even at the in-universe parody of Yaoi series still don't really do that. So, I don't know, man. Because later on, Lovable Lunches, they talk about as a manga series that Nakamura likes. And hey, maybe in universe, maybe that's how Nakamura found out that he was gay. And get out of here, bot! Wait, what? Are they bots or is it a two-person raid? First time chat from Raider. Oh, okay. It's a bot raid. Okay, goodbye, bots. Cheap viewers on steambot.io. Please don't ban me. I'm banning this person. I'm banning this person. If this is a real raid, welcome raiders. We're talking about gay stuff and internalized homophobia in the history of queerism throughout anime. Ban me too. Ooh, I want to ban too. I want to ban too. Please ban me. Seme Tav, they usually be the tall masculine one, and the flat chin is very serious looking. Yeah, they do kind of have. That's also another problem in gay queer media in general, where like they always have to have someone be the man and someone be the woman in the relationship, and this show kind of does that. Like here, where Nakamura is fantasizing about Hirose being his, like, boy wife. So Hirose is definitely, like, the more feminine person in this relationship. Theoretical relationship. But you get the idea. The anime's getting better about that. Like, in For Bloom Into You, I don't know how many times I'm gonna mention Bloom Into You this stream. But there was not really, like, a... Like, guys, I don't understand, like, straight relationships. Like, which one's the girl and which one's the other girl? in a hetero relationship, which one's the girl and which one's the other girl? Next door recommended you be rated. I wish it was when I was, well, I don't know. This might as well be good, but good as rate as any. I wish I was doing something more entertaining than just ranting about queer anime history, but like, at least you're not getting a wrong impression of what my content is like. The Green Yuri? I hate that I knew exactly what you meant by Green Yuri. I have that manga. I almost finished the first volume of the guy that she was interested in is not a guy at all. Yaoi, the protagonist, is usually the bottom. The protagonist is usually the bottom in Yaoi? That's interesting. But yeah, it's also... The Green Yuri is also getting an anime adaptation. I've been enjoying it well enough. Anyway, back to the effing show. I do like this little character moment where Nakamura and Hirose like couldn't like have an actual conversation, but the octopuses brought them together because the show's obsessed with octopuses. And they don't flip. I know. Where's my Switch on Switch Yaoi? And yeah, here's the shot at the end of episode 1 where Nakamura's like, I'm just your average everyday guy. I'm shy and gay. And they actually use the word gay. And then I'm like, hey, look, there's the ending theme is pretty cool. And then I'm like, wait, the ending theme is different for every single episode. Yeah, it used to be really bad in the day, yeah. It's definitely a case of it started out as maybe a bit of a fetishization, but as like understanding grew a little bit more, like there started to be more works about like the actual queer experience. So I don't know, man. Oh yeah, here's the in-universe yaoi lovable lunches, where Nakamura-Kun is very much inspired and self-inserts into lovable lunches. I'm sure you can see just by looking at the two characters which one he sees as himself and which one he sees as Hirose. But he's like writing down notes and being like, okay, I gotta figure out how to do this. Again, a lot of the comedy is the difference between what is in Nakamura's head versus what happens in actuality. Also, this bug is like fully voiced and has a very funny voice. It's like, hi, look at me, I'm a little cockroach. I'm gonna walk around and do a little scuttle. Like the stream so far, you seem chill. I do talk about anime and play, I was gonna say Nintendo games, but we're done. I'm done with Nintendo games. I want to play indie games. I made an awful choice of googling Uke for some reason. But yeah, this is what I was talking about, where the anime just kind of completely shifts in art style when they're talking about a scene from the manga, from a manga. He's like, oh, I could rescue Hirose like in this scene from Lovable Lunches. And then the cockroach goes down his sleeve, and then he ends up getting felt up by Hirose. And they're like, I got the cockroach out, and he's just like dead, absolutely overstimulated, dead. Woowa? Isn't that a gacha game, not an anime? Isn't that a gacha game, not an indie game or an anime? Nakamura uses yaoi as research. I absolutely love in-universe manga and anime in anime. It's very funny. Whee! And he's just crying of happiness. And look. What else? What appears? What appears other than the effing octopus sausage that you see in every anime? But it's especially relevant here because it's more octopus imagery. There's so much octopus imagery. Anyway, this episode is about Hirose losing his copy of Lovable Lunches, and Hirose is like, wow, is this gay book yours? And he's like, no, it's not. This is not mine. And then he spends the entire episode, like, basically going around the school with Hirose trying to find the owner of that book. Because he can't be honest with his feelings, because he's just a shy, awkward gay guy. It is a gacha game, okay. Why would you bring your yaoi to school? I'm assuming it's like a safe for work yaoi. And also in Japan, manga's like dirt cheap. It's like 300, 400 yen, which is like less than $5. Still! Because after he lost it, he's like, whatever, I'll just buy another copy. Just buy another copy, whatever, it doesn't matter. Also, this teacher who becomes, their homeroom teacher who becomes relevant later. And then later, Hirose finds him at the store and attacks him with unknowing words. Oh my gosh, I need to stop having air in my lungs. That shit is on my phone and password locked. I would say, especially since he's not out, like, the fact that he's just reading it without, like, a slipcover, like, in public like this is kind of crazy. You bring up a good point, Evan. The teacher's reading it like, oh, wow, this is kind of interesting, but very cheesy. And he's like, why is Hirose making the boy kiss her face in this fucking shot? Me when I read AO3 in public. I think I did this in the wrong order because this is after the episode. I did not reorder these screenshots. I have too many screenshots. He's like, I'm not buying yaoi, I'm buying this. And Hirosei's like, oh, okay, I'll see you later. And it just says redacted or censored or not available for public viewing. Which means it's a dirty comic. And then he goes back and sulks. It's very funny. So, was Nakamura embarrassed to claim his BL manga because it's gay or because it's cringe? Because after the teacher assessed it, it's like, oh wow, this is very cheesy and dumb. Like, outside of the fact that it's gay, it is very cheesy and tropey. I think it's just because he's not, like, out. Like, he knows he's gay. He self-identifies as gay, but he does not, like, he doesn't go around telling everyone he knows that. I can see both, yeah. Although, I don't know if Nakamura-Kun sees... I'm just gonna call him Nakamura-Kun every single time, because the title of the show is Ganbare Nakamura-Kun. But I can see both, where he simultaneously... Well, no, I don't see both. I think he, at this point in the story, is like, like, he does research. He takes notes based off of that manga, so I don't think he thinks that it's cringe. I think he's just embarrassed because he doesn't want, like, Hirosei to know how he truly feels about him. But you gotta shoot your shot, my dude. You gotta shoot your shots. Anyway, they also have a they have a still life of in an art class. They have a still life of Nakamura, or not Nakamura, Hirosei. Hirosei is the dude, is the love interest. Nakamura is the main character. So Hirosei is the study of a still life, and Nakamura's staring him down, trying to get every last detail of him down. And then he notices another character named Hifumi is really effing good at drawing, and draws Hirosei like super well. And then that's his drawing. I just had a really bad Vietnam flashback about a bad uke from back in the day. That's funny. Which one was uke again? I gotta scroll up. Bottom, okay. Anyway, so basically Nakamura says like, oh my god, I love your drawing, can I have it? I'm a huge fan. And she interprets this as she falls in love with him, basically. She falls in love with him. Also, ew, hetero slop. She basically falls in love with him because she thinks that he is handsome and that he's a fan of her work. And so she takes that as like a compliment, but no, really, he is a fan of her work, but he's mostly just wants really cute pictures of Hirosei to keep as his own. If I give you a picture without context, you probably think it's a woman. That's how bad it is. There's some good cross-dressing BL out there, though, if you think about it. Getting me off topic again. How am I an hour into this and I'm still only on episode 3? That's crazy. Because I thought it would only take an hour to get through the entire series. I guess the things have been happening in the chat. Not the straight person having crush on the gay person. I know. You've heard the doomed Yuri, and now get ready for the doomed hetero relationship. You gotta feel bad for her, because you know that relationship is just 100% not going to work out. Also, this girl has really big bangs too. She definitely looks like a Rumiko Takahashi character. And then she's like, oh my gosh, he's so handsome and he likes my work. And then they start getting into a big fight and octopuses start flying out because of course we need more octopus imagery in this show. Obviously. So yeah, there's like a full ass love triangle happening. And then Nakamura commissions, I think her name is Hifumi. Nakamura commissions Hifumi to draw a manga of him and Hirosei's daily life, which is what that says. Nakamura-Kun to Hirose-kun no Nichijo. Nakamura and Hirosei's daily life. And then he's like, oh my god, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever read in my entire life. And then throughout the rest of the show, he's seen like occasionally like reading it and like fangirling about it. Is this the part where... No, this is where they get trapped in a fucking locker room. Also, they're like, why is there a family of rats in the gym storage closet? What is going on here? Who let a family of rats in the gym storage closet? Also, that is a fat rat. That is a very fat, plump rat. Kill it. Do not kill the fat rat. The fat rat has babies. It has sucklings on it. Would you kill that fat rat and its little babies? No, you wouldn't. Anyway. It is a fat rat. It's like, I know the perspective's a little weird here, but like, that rat is definitely like at least twice the height of the wheels on this little cart back here. Lit with fire. Anyway, they get trapped in the love triangle here gets trapped in the gym storage closet. And also here's more octopus imagery. And Hifumi catches Nakamura taking a little of you know, say while he's asleep, which is creepy, yes, but Nakamura immediately is like, holy shit, what the fuck am I doing? I need to not do that. That's really fucking creepy. I just can't hold it back. I think that happens like one other time in the series, but like, yeah, it's a part where he's like, yeah, no, I can't do that. That is not okay. So like, is that cancelable? A character doing something toxic and then immediately regretting it and spending the rest of the series trying to make up for it? I don't know. Is that... Do we just have high standards for queer stories? Or is that a legitimate complaint? I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm just a person on the internet. Anyway, then the teachers come and finally figure out that they locked him in the storage closet, came to pick him up and drove him home. And then the radio, what they played in the radio, it turns into the ending theme, which is really funny. And you can see that on the radio display, that is the name of the song, of the ending song that's playing. Like, you can see Smooth Rap here, and the name of the song is Konya wa Buggy no Baku. Smooth Rap. Where are their parents? How the fuck did no one notice? They noticed eventually. There's a lot of effing kids. Although, yes, as a former teacher, every time you're moving kids from one place to another place, you fucking count. This is why you count. Be like, okay, I had 24 students when I came into this room, and I need 24 students on my way out of this room. So, yeah, no, I agree with you. How the fuck did that happen? The sun was completely down. They didn't notice until, like, their parents called and were like, hey, where's my fucking kid? That's just especially Japan, who's very thorough, famously thorough about everything. I'm just saying, that wouldn't happen to me. That wouldn't happen to me. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. This wouldn't have. I wouldn't happen to me. Much as I didn't like being a teacher, I was good at it. It's 9 p.m. Where the fuck is my child? It's like, oh yeah, we should probably do that at some point. We should probably figure out where those kids went. Do they not have like attendance at the beginning of every period or something? They do attendance at the beginning of the day and call it good. Anyway, episode 4 has a nice little message to it. So first, Nakamura-Kun gets very jealous of Hirose's childhood friend. I like that because the childhood friend is often a love rival in other shows, like just with like the show that we talked about like 2 times ago, Don to Don, had that too. Amazing Freudian slip. At the end of the gay, at the beginning and end of the gay. Anyway, so they walk by a case, like an aquarium case that has an octopus in it, and Nakamura wants to like talk about his obsession with octopuses, but remembers back in the day where he talked about octopuses, and the other kids were like, okay, buddy, whatever you say. And then he had trauma from it, so he wants to talk to Hirose about how cool octopuses are, but he is like, oh, never mind. I don't, never mind. And then, we'll skip by this for the time being. At the end of the, near the end of the episode, Nakamura, like, you know, laid out his emotions about how dumb and annoying his sister is, which, his sister's an asshole. I don't know why his sister's such an asshole, but every time she's on screen, she's doing something that is just completely rude and unjustifiable. Anyway, so he lets out his emotions about his sister, and he's like, oh crap, did I go too far? Did I scare him off? And Hirose like, ha ha ha, you're so silly. You're a cool guy. So that's a fun time. That's a very real, having to downplay your interest because trauma, yeah. Children can be cruel and unusual and give you a lot of trauma to other children. You think parents are good at giving childhood trauma? What the fudge? Who's messaging me? Okay, nothing, not important. You think parents are good at giving okay. You think parents are good at giving childhood trauma? Other children are very good at giving out childhood trauma. But yeah, then later he meets the leader of the art club, who's not actually the leader of the art club. She's the leader of the occult club, and she's basically the best character because she's very like screamy and emoty, and both of her voice actresses like put absolutely everything they have into playing this girl, and she's very like loud and very fun, especially because the show's not particularly like loud and emotion filled. It's mostly like Nakamura being like, oh, I wish I could get closer to Hirose, and then fucking it up. And then Hirose being like, aha. But she just comes in and was like, you gotta join the Akoi Club, oh my god, you didn't do this, you'll be perfect for that, we don't need members, and we're gonna get shut down, oh my fucking god. She's like she's grabbing onto his ankle. Also, we have parodies of movies, like Ringo. Instead of Ringu, it's Ringo, and Ringo in Japanese is apple. So we have the Ring Apple parody. That's a pun in Japanese, that makes sense. I don't know what this is a parody of. Onyo Shiki? I don't know what that's a parody of. Onryo House Khan? No, that's Khan, not Shiki Khan. Anyway, so she's like, hey, while you think about joining the occult club, here's a vial of poisoned blood that will help you with your relationships. And so he just kind of keeps it, but then it actually ends up working, and that's how he ends up walking home with Hirose and having a conversation about his sister. And then fudge, what the fudge? How do I even explain this scene? These gang of bikers jump Hirose and basically try to kill him or kidnap him or something. No, I don't know, there's like some joke about them later on. But basically, Nakamura-Kun rushes in to help protect Hirose and immediately falls down a sewer grate. And they're like, what happened there? Oh yeah, they're part of the photography club and they want pictures of Hirose because they think he's cool looking. A Yankee. Exactly. They're just delinquents. They're like biker gang delinquents, not like pompadour delinquents. Anyway, so Nakamura-Kun comes out of the fucking sewer grate like the girl in the ring, and his little like blood vials spilled out all over his face, so he looks like a zombie and scares off the other people, and Hirose just thinks this is effing hilarious. And then she's like, "Oh my god, you're the fucking zombie, the school uniform zombie. You have to join our occult club now." And then they're having then they get like a little interview about their sighting with the zombie. And it's very silly. And then they have another ending theme of Nakamura in his room. I do like the unique ending themes, but most of the ending themes are just Nakamura in his room dancing to the music. But it's good, I like it. So apparently the song was done by the Barbie Boys. What episode is this? Episode 4, I believe. I know you said you had something to say about it. Just tell me the episode number and I'll make a note of it in my notes. I'll make a note of it in my notes. If you remember the episode title. But yeah, that's the end of episode 4. Episode 5, what I'm talking about? Hey, guess what? Hey, guess what? I've great news. I have great news about what episode we're talking about next. I need a drink of water. Anyway, we continue having in this episode. This is the yaoi baiting episode in the actual yaoi series, where Hirose's friend pretends to be all lovey-dovey with him, and this drives Nakamura insane. The fact that he has like this aura about him. And he's like, that should be me! It should be me, it should have been me, not him! And they have like these cutout paintings of all the memories of except instead of his friend, it's him. But then they find out that they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing this because of that person. And it's like, not that person, that person. Because she's a big boys love shipper, and so he wants to impress her by cuddling up with Hirose. He has no logic. There's no logic to his plan. There's absolutely no logic to his plan. He is interested in her, and she is interested in shipping the boys in her class. And his best plan of attack to get her attention is to act all lovey-dovey towards Hirose. Huh? The Yami Yugi voice? You want to know something stupid? Is this the controversy that everyone's talking about? His dumb plan and the high school girls acting like high school girls? That's an actual yaoi trope of... Oh, that is an actual yaoi trope? That's fun. I've not watched a lot of yaoi. I should watch more yaoi. The only ones I really watched is Yuri on Ice and this one, and I like both of these very much. Anyway, later on, if we're talking about actual questionably problematic things, at some point, Hirose's teacher, I forget his name, but Hirose's teacher bails him out by getting punished from the guidance counselor, and they become best buddies. Two guys begin to be together to appease a girl, and they end up falling in love in the process. That's really funny. But that did not happen here, because they dropped that after this episode. But yeah, so they get all buddy-buddy because his teacher bailed him out of getting punished because of his hair, and he's like, hey, this is just my natural hair color, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, no, you have to dye it to be black, and blah, 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 blah. It's an actual problem in Japan. And then his homeroom teacher kind of like bails him out and gets him out of trouble, so they become all buddy-buddy. And then Lovesick, the series. I was gonna say, isn't there a video game called Lovesick, where like a flash game called Lovesick, where people puke on each other, and that's the whole point of the game, is that you have to puke on each other? Or that's not what you're talking about, I'm guessing. Anyway. Yeah, so Nakamura interprets this as Hirose being in love with his teacher? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And I'm like, is that the big controversy of the series? Because a character misinterpreting something that is problematic for a joke? Is that the big controversy of the series? Because a character misinterpreting something that is problematic for a joke is pretty effing weak as far as controversy is concerned. Because, like, that is not what is happening. But that is what Nakamura is interpreting it as. Yeah, and the teacher's like, I gotta go. In Japanese, he says "su," which can be suck or to smoke. And Nakamura interprets that as a suck. And then there's more octopus imagery, and like, no, it's just, they're not, there is no student-teacher relationship happening here. They are just he's just misinterpreting it for a joke, and he's like, compared to the teacher, you're a nobody, you're an NPC, you're a mob, a background character. By the way, that's why Mob in Mob Psycho 100 is called Mob, because he's supposed to be like a background character kind of character. Is this... Did I skip over the episode that has a good ending theme? Because I think this is the end of episode 5, and then the beginning of episode 6 is where they go on a school trip. Let's catch up on shit. Really stupid problem in Japanese, because I hate the concept of, I can't stand the hair thing. It's a lot of, like, you know, keeping traditional image and branding of Japan. Japan really cares about its own branding for reasons beyond my comprehension. It's mostly just a tradition thing, like, oh, back in my day everyone had the same colored hair, so that's how it has to always be from now and forever. That's why it also took a long time to get rid of the weird gym uniforms that were just like retired in Japan nationwide like a couple years ago. Here's a story about a Japanese girl that was in a similar situation as Rose, but they still made her dye her hair. It eventually got to the point her hair started to fall out from the constant dyeing. Oh my god, that's awful. Yeah, dyeing your hair is not like good for your hair. Especially if you don't know what you're doing. And you're dyeing it like in a very intense color like black. Zettai BL, whose name is same joke as the main character, Zettai BL, whose name is Mabu. What is the ending thing that you wanted to say about the ending of episode 5? Because I did not apparently classify it as noteworthy. Because I do not have a screenshot of it, I don't think. Yeah, this is episode 6. The Speedo ass shorts that girls used to wear at Japanese schools, yeah. That was people knew that that was a problem for a very long time, but they had a hard time changing it because like people were like, oh, when I was in school we had to wear it, and I want my children to have to do the same exact thing I did in school. If I change the direction of the train now, that would be unfair to all the people the train has already killed. The ending theme was Fly Day Chinatown. You recognize the band that the ending theme was? That's cool. I wish I knew more about music. I basically know Bump of Chicken and Man with a Mission are the only bands that like I actively recognize. Also some Bleach stuff like Overworld and obviously Lisa and Hikaru Utata, the Tri-Bi Monarch. Made the Kingdom Hearts openings. And also one of the songs for end of the Evangelion Rebuild movies. And I'll give you one last kiss. Meow, 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 meow. That one, you know that one. Not so simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel tonight. You thought that just because the Sonic stream was over, I would stop singing? That's crazy. No, I would never. Why does this sound so familiar? Fly Day Chinatown. Mayoru no Fadin. What is that kanji? Okay, I gotta focus. We gotta we're already an hour and a half into the stream and I'm not even halfway through. But also there's like a large chunk in the midsection I have nothing to say about. I'm sorry. When did this show have cover songs? Is it a cover song and not an actual, just like the original people? That's really funny. Oh no, you thought that it had cover songs, but it wasn't but it was actually. I can look this up. I can look this up. Only one thing I use Mao for is they list the ending themes. Episode 5, Fly Day Chinatown by Yasua. So if it was Yasua, then there you go. Fly Day Chinatown by Yasua. There you go. There you go. It's a real song, not a cover. Based. Anyway, episode 6 actually did have a bit to it. Oh my gosh, it's also getting effing hot. I'm just gonna be far away from the break for a second. It's gonna be like 15 billion degrees next week. So I should really, they fixed the AC a little bit, but not enough apparently. Anyway, so they went on a field trip to Yokohama, and Nakamura was thinking about how he can't be as cool as the teacher, and thinking like, wow, you know, if I can't even be as cool as the teacher, then I'm never gonna impress Hirose. And also for some reason the aquarium had a lot of like motivational sayings in it. Nande are motomerare to ikiyasui desu ne. Yui sui yo ne. It is easier to live if you accept everything that comes at you. Like stuff like that was like all over this aquarium for some reason, and that's weird. Also, here's a taco on some takoyaki. But yeah, so he was like alone in the aquarium, thinking about how like he's not as cool as the teacher. And then Hirose joined Nakamura-Kun in the aquarium, and they bonded over the octopus. Again, octopus is always central to the plot of this show for some reason. And yeah, they actually had like a little moment together, like the most amount of character development that was like in this entire show. Where Hirose says that you should be true to yourself, and he also opened up about how sometimes it's hard to be around his friends because all he talks about is dirty jokes and girls. So he's like, but it's nice. I like being around you, Nakamura-Kun, because you're easy to talk to. And I'm like, he specifically brought up that he didn't like his friend because all he talks about is dirty jokes and girls. Is Hirose having a gay awakening? I don't know. It makes you think. The way that they chose their words, specifically, made it kind of lent it in that direction. But the main point of the scene is like, hey, you're not like my other friends. You're actually quite easy to talk to, and I like being around you sometimes. And then two guys bonding over octopus. Say that. Anyway, so then later on, his friends invite him to go do a ferry, and he's like, I kind of don't want to. And they're like, oh, come on, it'll be fun. We just need one person for a discount. And then Nakamura actually goes out of it, like takes a step of initiative and says like, hey, remember earlier what you said about being true to yourself? You should take yourself up on that advice and not force yourself to do something that you don't really want to. And he's like, you know what, yeah, you got a good point, I'm gonna keep hanging out with you. And that was a nice moment. And then they have a romantic little flower garden. I know flower imagery is very strong in the Yuri sphere, but I don't know, like, does the yaoi have anything similar to like Yuri flowers? Is it also flowers? I mean, I guess no matter the context, flowers are just romantic in general. But there's not a whole lot of flower imagery. There's just a lot of octopus imagery in this show. I'd be curious to see if yaoi has anything like equivalent to the Yuri flower. I have no idea. Awesome, cool. Because as I talked about last time, the Japanese word for lily literally means Yuri. And that's where the term Yuri comes from. So if you see a lot of lilies in Yuri shows, that's why. Here's your 4th Japanese lesson for the day. I lost count. And then there is this nice scene where Nakamura is like having a big confession towards Hirose. He's like, I really want us to be friends. And then he said, hey, the funny thing about that is I thought we were already friends. And then they take a little picture together, and it's very cute and wholesome, and I like it. And then that picture turns into the ending credits for the episode, and that's very nice, and I like that a lot. I think bar has something to do with flowers. I think bada means rose. Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think rose, like rose imagery, also is related to yaoi. I could be wrong. I'm not a yaoi expert. I know I claim to be an all-around anime expert, but it's yaoi is something I'm not super duper familiar with. But now that you mentioned rose with yaoi, I think you are correct. Just gotta double check that, by the way. Jisho Bada. Bada is rose. I am correct. So yeah, episode 6 is very wholesome. And then episode 7 is they kidnap Nakamura, and then the guy wants him to be a main character in his movie that he's making. And we get introduced to the film guy, and he's relevant like twice ever. And then they go to the school after midnight with Hirose. And Nakamura thinks Hirose is holding his hand, and the shot imagery makes that very vague, like this shot especially. But it turns out, oh, it was a ghost! Ooh, scary! Anyway, episode 7 sucked. Because it was very much like, yeah, it's summertime, haunted house, whatever, fuck it. It's a slice of life. We have to have a haunted house episode at some point. Whatever, F it. Wonder if this is gonna have multiple couples in it. It doesn't seem like that way. There's like a little love triangle with Hifumi, but it doesn't seem like that, at least from what I've seen. But I could definitely see the occult club and the film club people having a thing for each other. That would be hetero slop that we don't want in our gay anime. Yaoi doesn't do that very often from what I've seen, yeah. Romance stories in general don't tend to do that. They just focus on like the main romance. I'm trying to think if there's like a rom-com anime I've seen where they've had a relationship between not the main characters. I think someone in Clannad mentioned how they got married at one point. Maybe. That's all I can think of. Usually in BLs, it's main couple and side couple. That's interesting. And that's it. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, episode 7 was boring. Don't worry about this shot. I'll explain the shot in a second. But yeah, the show, like, but as far as, like, you know, we had 6 good episodes in a row. Episode 7 was, like, the first episode that I felt was, like, it was slice of life, but it was very much just kind of, like, resting on its laurels. Of just, like, yeah, this is the episode. Okay, we're just doing this now. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. That's all I had to say. I think also the last time I got rated, I was not playing a video game either. Because I think the last time I got rated was, back in, like, the Year of the Dragon New Year's stream, where I did, like, the Japanese New Year's countdown. Someone rated me then. So why do I always get rated when I'm not playing a video game? When I'm doing the most, like, you had to be there stream in the entire world? I could write down an entire relationship graph if I wanted to. Lovesick is anime, manga. I'll look it up. It is 2008 manga, 2001 doujinshi, or 2006 light novel. Which one? Which one is it, Devin? Lovesick got a remake recently. You gotta give me more information. If you want to recommend me shows, even though you're on 2-month probation from recommending shows. Thai series from 2014. Okay, that's probably why I can't find it. Lovesick Dog. Okay, yeah, that's some schmut. Lovesick Thai series. It's a live action show? Are you recommending live action Thai dramas in my effing That's fucked up. It's fucked up is what that is. Wasn't recommending. You were talking about it highly enough where I was interested. That's enough of a recommendation. Anyway, back to the main show in question. We are nearing the end because I don't have a lot to say about episodes 8 to 10. But I would say episode 8 made up for episode 7 being kind of weak by being the dumbest episode. Because we're back to the sniffing. Because Nakamura ends up with Hirosei's gym uniform. And he sniffs it, and then he finds out that, oh, it's not actually Hirosei's gym uniform. It's this guy's uniform. And he is distraught about that and does the Yamcha dying pose. And I think that's very funny. Because, like, somebody borrowed a gym uniform from Hirosei and then asked Nakamura-Kun to give it back to Hirosei, and then he sniffed it and then found out that Hirosei was actually borrowing that uniform from this guy. This guy who looks like he belongs in a different series. I was gonna say, this guy should be like the main character. This guy looks like the main character of a different Yaoi series. The Musk of a Man. I know, when he was sniffing it, he was like, this smells vile, but I have to learn to love it because it's Hirosei's smell. And it wasn't actually Hirosei's smell. The fun transition of Hirosei to that guy when he was remembering what he's smelling, and then he just kind of died. And then we get introduced to Hirosei's old friend who shows up, who is even a bigger freak than Nakamura is. Yeah, here's where Nakamura's like, oh, I'm gonna go to jail for being such a creepo, and Hirosei's not gonna visit me in jail, and then the trumpet octopuses. He goes to apologize. Anyway, so then they run into Hirosei's old friend, and he's like, oh no, he's such a good guy. And then turns out that he's a bigger freak about Hirosei than Nakamura is. Because he's like, hey, I have all these old pictures of Hirosei in elementary and middle school. And he's like, hold on a fucking minute. Why do you have these pictures? And he's like, of course I have these pictures, because I love him. And like, what the fudge? Then they had a effing freak off. Then they had a freak off where he's like, no, I love Hirosei more. No, I love Hirosei more. We went to the aquarium together. Oh yeah, well, we went to the... Where meanwhile, Hirosei doesn't know who either of these people are. Has no idea how these two people feel about him. So we have like a love rival, but no, he's just a freak. And they pulled out the way that this scene was framed. It seemed like he was about to use Bankai. He's like, okay, you caused me. I have to pull out my secret weapon to prove that I'm the biggest Hirosei freak. His old gym uniform. And then Nakamura steals it and then sniffs it. And then it turns out that that wasn't even Hirosei's gym uniform. It was this guy's again. Because Hirosei never... actually brings his own gym uniform anywhere. But I love that when a joke finds its way to come up again. Because this was like 10-15 minutes later, and I had completely forgotten about the first round of this joke, or else I would have 100% seen this coming, where the gym uniform was actually not Hirosei's. But no, look at this shot and tell me that he's not about to use Bankai. Tell me right now. Even though this guy should go to jail, I know. At least Nakamura like feels remorse about all the weird, creepy things that he does. This guy absolutely does not. He has no remorse. He should be in jail. He has no remorse for his actions. Anyway, that was a funny episode. And the next episode is the school festival episode, where Nakamura runs into a girl that looks exactly like Hirosei, and Nakamura literally asks himself, wait, am I bi now? Am I bi now? Like, this girl shows up and it causes Nakamura to entirely question his entire sexuality. Because he's like, wait, why is this girl making my heart race? Is it just because she looks like Hirosei? And he literally is like, in Japanese too, he's like, am I bi now? Uses the word bi, which again is just bi. You're just all, you know, say sexual. You missed the opportunity to say hero sexual. And he's like, oh my god, am I bi now? And then he runs in and he's like, wait, hold on, there's that girl again. He's like, oh my god, I can't be straight. And then he's like, wait, hold on, I can't be bi. Am I bi? I don't know. I still love Hirose. And then it turns out, this girl is actually two girls. This girl who's in this play that Nakamura got dragged into is Hirose wearing a wig and a dress. And then that other girl, I think who is this girl, this is not Hirose wearing a dress at this point. I think this is the second girl. This is Hirose wearing a dress. But yeah, this girl is Hirose's cousin, I think? Oh no, his sister. I think it's his sister. I feel like this is another yaoi trope of being like, oh shit, am I straight now or am I bi? It's like, no, it's just the guy I'm in love with that dressed up as a girl. But yeah, that's very funny. They do literally look exactly the same. Like, look, I was 100% convinced when this scene first came up that this was just Hirose wearing a dress, but it is actually a distinct, separate character. Boy wearing girl clothes, especially if the boy is Uke. That's funny. But yeah, that was very weird. Even afterwards, he's like, wait, am I bi now? Am I bi now? He doesn't understand. He's just, but he just determined the fact that he's so much in love with Hirose that he loves anyone who looks like Hirose, including his family members, which is a little weird. Please stop force-femming bottoms. Stop doing that. But also, you could express your gender however you want. Who cares? But also stop force-femming bottoms. Stop trying to fit people into gender stereotypes. But also let people express their gender however they want. What are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about. Anyway, Super Smash Brothers reference in my yaoi show. They go to like a cafe to study for their finals or whatever, and Nakamura takes a lot of notes about Hirose and everything that they talk about and are interested in, and then somebody spills coffee on him and ruins all of his notes. You can do whatever gender-wise, it just feels very heteronormative to me. Yeah, like what I was saying earlier about how like there always has to be like, even in gay relationships, there still has to be like a man and a woman in their relationship. And that is very heteronormative, I agree. Also, if a guy wants to dress up like a girl or a girl wants to dress up like a guy, then that's fine too. But yeah, it's very tricky in writing to play around with gender roles without accidentally following gender roles too closely. And I don't understand straight relationships. Like, in a straight relationship, which one is the girl and which one is the other girl? Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree. We talked about that earlier. Anyway, next episode, Lovable Lunches gets an anime adaptation, and I like her little outfit here. Unrelated note. But the Unlovable Lunches gets a anime adaptation, and they have like a big collaboration cafe with like special like menu items about the anime, and I'm like, yeah, that's a very thing that actually happens. And there's like a whole different art style for the anime version of Lovable Lunches. And then because you can definitely see it here, the different art style and lighting and like the hair and stuff, especially where Nakamura like self-inserts into Lovable Lunches. I was gonna say, how did you just now get the #1 chatter? But no, you've already had that. It was just the icon. Straight person asked you that question, throw it right back at them. Exactly. Defeat them with confusion. Just defeat the homophobes with confusion. Psychic damage is super effective against homophobes. Lesser known fact there. But anyway, so Hifumi and the other girls from his class like show up to this Lovable Lunches event because like, oh, it's a boys' love, so it's marketed towards women, and we didn't expect an actual gay man to show up, but they do, and they find him, and they're like, oh yeah, it's cool, don't worry about it. And then they get really passionate about talking about their love for Lovable Lunches, and it becomes a little awkward. And what is this hetero slop in my stupid show? And yes, I wanted to mention that because as soon as I heard this guy speak, I think it was like during the manga part in like episode 2. He's played by Todoroki, who also does the main guy from Clannad. I mentioned this several times about how Todoroki and the main guy from Clannad have the same English voice actor, but he's also here as being like this main character from this in-universe anime. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love in-universe anime and manga and things like this. They need to learn that Fudanchi exists. And then he tries this creepy disguise that does not effing work. Anyway, is this person based on anyone real? Because he looks like he has too specific of a design to just be fake. And also, Animate is just an actual, like, brand in Japan. So, like, did they have an official did this anime have an official collaboration with Anime? Because that's like an anime goods store in Japan. Is there a picture of what the author of this series looks like? Because if I had to guess, that's what I think this person would be based off of. Nope, the creator of this series is a girl. And she has a Blue Sky account. Based as fuck. It's not, Blue Sky is not loading for me right now. Never mind. There's an anime based on Fudanchi, the trope, or like it's like a Fujoshi or like a term like Fujoshi or otaku or stuff like that. Like just the male version of Fujoshi, which is just like slightly more degenerate version of otaku. You get the idea. It's the male version of a female trope of a male trope. Don't worry about it. Some anime about a boy that likes yaoi. Yeah, it's this show. It's called Ganbare Nakamura-Kun. Speaking of which, Nakamura-Kun gets up to the signing line, and he's like, "Oh my god, I love your series. It was such a big inspiration of my life." And he's like, "Wow, I'm glad that I could help you." And then he signs his copy, and guess what? Guess what he writes in his copy of Lovable Lunches? It says Ganbare Nakamura-Kun. Title drop. Kino. Anime good. Anime good. Yeah, he definitely knows he's gay. Because, like, Nakamura says something to the effect of, like, you're, like, a big inspiration, or, like, I look up to you, or, like, something to the effect of, like, yeah, you helped me discover that I was gay, and I like your series because it, like, represents me, and representation is important. And, he really is appreciative of it. And so he gives him a knowing smile. Hashtag knowing smile. And then signed his copy with the title drop. I like this girl's outfit, the white and the red. Unrelated note. The same girl from back here. Over analyzing background character designs again. I'm sorry. Anyway, now time for the final batch of episodes. I know, already? It's been 2 hours, I suppose. Do you have anything to say about those batch of episodes? Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot in the episodes 8 to 10. We got introduced to Hidosei's rival, Nakamura maybe being bi or just Hidosei sexual, and then the anime event. And the title drop. And then that's what I'm saying, like after episode 6, the show kind of fell off a little bit. Because episode 6 was like really good, and then episode 7 was really bad. And then 8 and 9 was a little better, but they're still kind of boring, and 10 was a little boring, and then 11 was like, oh my god, I want to die. So episode 11 immediately goes to Christmas. You can tell a slice of life anime is running out of ideas when they start speed running the holidays. Because in episode 7 we had the summer break, and then in episode 9 or something, yeah, episode 9 we had the school festival, which takes place in fall, and then in episode 11 we're already at Christmas. So listen, listen. It's hard to make a slice of life anime, but maybe they also wanted like the entire first season to fit in 1 year, because that is what ends up happening. But it really just feels like they're speed running the holidays because they don't know what else to do with the story. So there's just like, fuck it, let's go to the next holiday. So we have the Christmas and New Year's episode right in one episode. And basically they fight over trying to buy Hidosei this shirt that is sold out everywhere. And they run into the rival. And they have a race throughout the mall to try to find this shirt. And then they find a lost little kid. And then they return the kid. And then they can't find the shirt. But Nakamura gets Hidosei a little pink octopus pen that he likes even better. And he already has the shirt, so... Anyway, moving on. Again, it was a kind of boring half episode. It was only half an episode, but it was kind of boring because it was just like... They raced through the mall to try to get the shirt first, and that was basically the whole episode. And then the Valentine's episode is not much better. Or not the Valentine's, the New Year's episode is not much better. Why is this shot in 4:3, by the way? Just wondering. Like when he's in the bathroom thinking like, oh, I need to trim my bangs. Anyway, so he accidentally gets his bangs... He cuts his bangs too hard because his sister kicks open the door and like fucks him up while he's trying to trim his bangs. So he cuts way too much off. And then he ends up going to like a fancy salon and getting like a really super short haircut. But we don't see it because this is all that we see of it. And then the next episode, it's completely back to normal. So I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Why did the Christmas and New Year's episode feel like filler episodes where like literally nothing happened and nothing was of consequence at all? Because, like, the next episode, it's Valentine's Day, and it's, like, 2 months later, and his hair is already back to normal. Like, what? What? And then I'm like, oh my god, and now we're gonna do the thing. The food doesn't have any price tags. Where? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Oh, no, yeah, no, I remember. During the salon, yeah, no, I remember. Where he thinks it's like, because there's no prices on any of the drinks, he thinks that it's like super expensive, but like, no, they're like, no, it's on the house. Because like everywhere was closed for New Year's, which is a very Japan thing. Being in Japan in New Year's for 3 years. Yeah, no, nothing is effing open for like the entire week of New Year's. So he had to go to like a fancy salon, and he was intimidated by the lack of prices on the drink menu, and she's like, no, it's complimentary. hate when places do that with prices not listed because it's so effing expensive. Or because it's complimentary. It's either super expensive or not expensive at all. Anyway, so we're speedrunning the seasons, and then we do go straight to the New Year, the Valentine's Day episode. We do we're doing the summer, the fall festival, and then we were doing Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, and then we have the Valentine's Day of, oh, I'm gonna make some chocolate for Hirose, but I can't give it to him because I'm so embarrassed. And I'm like halfway through episode like 12, I was falling asleep. I was like seriously dead in my chair falling asleep because like 11 and the first half of 12 was so goddamn boring. I like to get my money before getting to the counter so I'm not wasting time. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. If it's not listed and then you have to like get your money all, especially in Japan where everything is cash based. Japan has been getting a little better about that with like Apple Pay and whatnot, but like it's most places only take cash in Japan. Anyway, so just as I was about to pass out from boredom, halfway through episode 12, it hits you with a emotional slap in the face, where Hirose gets a girlfriend, and then the episode I can't speak. Hirose gets a girlfriend, and then the episode gets very, 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 very moody. Like, the episode got really dark. Like, they did too good of a job of portraying how horribly sad Nakamura-Kun is and how much this is like tearing him up inside. And I'm like, yes, this is the good stuff. I want my emotional trauma. Because listen, I like wholesome stuff, but wholesome stuff can be boring sometimes. I want some stuff. Why does Hirose have a girlfriend that looks the same as him? I think that's just the art style. But yeah, that's who that one girl was in the opening. She literally appears in the penultimate episode. But yeah, Nakamura is like, oh, I'm so sad that Hirose has a girlfriend. He's walking through the town and everyone else, he walks by all the couples. And then he's like, well, I should be happy because, you know, if Hirose is happy, then I should be happy too. And then if we have a fun, like, minute and a half scene of him just, like, uncontrollably sobbing in bed. And he rides out into the bike in the middle of the night and goes to like a hill to like effing cry. And like I like this shot of like Nakamoto's POV, and like the shot is like filling up with tears. It's so fucking sad. And then and then we have the silent ending. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. Because it's just like he's fucking crying. He threw a box of chocolates away. He's just crying his effing eyes out, and then it just cuts to credits. That's what happens to me when I get a crush on possible straight guys. No, Tevin, don't say that. It's too sad. It's too sad. Tevin, do you need a hug? At least I have a blahaj to hug when I get shade. I didn't say me. Okay, do you still want to hug anyway? Yeah, I'm just asking for a friend. Do you want to hug it? Do you want to hug anyway? I gotta pull up a picture. Speaking of me crying in blahaj. I hate touching people. I also don't like touching people too. Physical contact forms of affection, please. I'll take a high five I'll take a fist bump every so often. Bet. Anyway, I just wanted to show this meme. Ah, fudge, where is it? Okay, there it is. Trans people are evil. Meanwhile, trans people, good night, my stuffed animal that I hug and pretend is a real person. Saw this and I'm like, why? I'm in this picture and I don't like it. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. Dying, dude. Also, I don't know if you saw this meme earlier. I couldn't find this meme, so I recreated it myself. Mom, I'm trans. Is it because of that game you play? Oh yeah, let me check if I accidentally played the fucking game that makes you trans. And then he looks at Shadow the Hedgehog for Guest GameCube. Oh fuck. This is who I am. Anyway. Moving on with the last episode. Good night, my stuffed animal that I hug and pretend is a real person. Anyway, then we have the final episode starts off with a really sad part, and then Hirose's girlfriend is like, "Oh, this is just like what Hirose has," and then he starts crying some more. And then he walks by them having a somewhat serious looking conversation. Yeah, see how she has like the flower in her hair, and that's what like indicates the fact that like that's her distinctive character traits, is that she has a flower in her hair, and that's the only reason I recognized her from the opening. Anyway, so then Hirose is like, well, I got dumped. Hirose, the girl broke up with Hirose because she thought he was boring, and then Nakamura is like, woohoo, yippee! Internally. Although I guess he still has very mixed thoughts, because again, he was like, I'm happy as long as Hirose is happy, but also I'm really sad because I want to be with Hirose. But yeah, Hirose also talks about how, like, I never really felt anything towards her, but, she approached me and thought I was cute, so wanted to date, and, yeah, that's pretty much it, and, then she broke up with me because she thought I was boring, and then Nakamura's like, oh, I don't think you're boring, I think you're really awesome, and Hirose is like, oh, I'm awesome, you say, and then Nakamura's like, I didn't mean it like that. And then the rest of the episode is them going on a movie date. Also, I like her outfit. He couldn't sleep the night before because Hirose asked him out on a little movie date. And then they just, the last half of the last episode is just them going, also like her outfit. The last half of the last episode is just them going on a little movie date where they have a little, oh, I can't touch the same popcorn you're touching. By the way, why don't they have this at American movie theaters? I've seen this in when I saw movies in Japan. They had this like little thing where you can have your popcorn and soda in the same cup holder, and like, what the fuck? Like, where are you supposed to put your popcorn when you have a cup holder for your soda, but you don't have any place to put your popcorn, and you just have to awkwardly hold it the entire movie? I don't know, man. Anyway, so they have a cute little date, and then Hirose says like, hey, I got you this present that I got a while ago, and it's a little octopus, and he's like, oh my god, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever had in my entire life. And then Nakamura is like, he's still thinking about how he felt before, about how he wants Hirose to be happy. And he wants to give up on Hirose because he's like, oh, he's straight and he's probably not gay. And, he wants to be with a woman, and I just want him to be happy. So I'm going to try to give up on Hirose and let him be his own person and just be okay with being friends. But at the same time, he also admits, like, but I can't deny that that I have these feelings for Hirose. And I'm like, that's cute. That's wholesome and cute. Where he wants Hirose to be happy, but also he can't, like, deny his own feelings that he has. So it's a very, like, when I talk about like a very Japanese thing of the conflict happening because people are being too nice to each other. Nakamura is being too considerate of Hirosei's feelings, and that is what is causing this internal conflict, which I relate to. Maybe not this exact same situation, but I often like try to be too considerate of other people's feelings, most often to my own feelings, the detriment of my own feelings. Let me try that sentence one more time. I feel that too. Maybe not in the same exact way as Nakamura, but in a way of like, I'm too considerate of other people's feelings to the detriment of my own feelings. But yeah, then they say goodbye, and there's like 3 endings of the series, because there's this shot that I thought was gonna be the last shot, because they're like this shot, and then they go to credits, and then halfway through the credits they have one more goodbye, and then post credits, Nakamura's like, oh, it's a new school season, you know, I might not ever see Hirose again, you know, we might not even be in the same class, and then he goes to look at the class roster, and he goes, and then the series ends. So it's heavily implied that they're still in the same class and things will continue as they have been. So yeah, that is Ganbare Nakamura-Kun. Why did it load all these just fine, but now it's not loading anything else? It was again very up and down. The like episode, like pretty much episode 7 to halfway through 12 was super boring, and I know that's not a lot of episodes. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 episodes, and out of those 5 episodes only 2 were really bad, but considering the series is only 13 episodes, that's a large chunk of the series. Again, didn't hate it because it's gay. I hated it because it was boring. It wasn't gay enough. That was my problem. I'm just trying to find the shot in the opening where you can see her. Yeah, right there. She's not even in until the last episode. Now we know. Now you can watch the opening knowing who all these characters are. Occult Club, the photography club, the gym teacher who appeared like twice, and the homeroom teacher, Hirosei's sister, the rival, and then Hirosei's one-time girlfriend. What's a good picture to end it on? There, this is a good picture to end it on. But yeah, that is the show. I'm surprised I had that much to talk about it. I shoutouts to Tevin. This definitely would have been under an hour if it was like last time when I was just reading off my notes. At least every single character that appeared in the opening got to appear in the series once. For real. There was some anime I watched a while ago where there was a character in the opening that didn't appear until next season when they already changed the opening. But usually anime openings are pretty good about that. But yeah, even though I don't have a whole lot to say about the show, despite the fact that I ranted about it for 2 hours, I'm here to bring the yaoi knowledge. And to make the stream longer than an hour, because the stream definitely would have just been like an hour and a half if it was just me. That's the only reason that Bloom Into You wasn't like 3 hours long. Was only 3 hours long. Was specifically because there was nobody in the chat. But there was a lot of VOD views, so it's fine. But yeah, even though I didn't have a whole lot to say about the show, I still liked it a lot. It was a good breather after the craziness that was Bloom Into You. I definitely like I like anime, and I just like all different types of anime. And no, usually, especially for these discussion series, I like anime with some meat on its bones, with some things to think about and discuss. I also, you know, like happy, light, slice of life shows. And there was no controversy. unless something crazy happens later in the manga, the internet lied to me and just bullied the manga author off of the internet for no effing reason, other than she dared to make a series about gay. And it's a really good series about gay. Like, they actually use the word gay and talk about the gay experience. There is no yaoi baiting here. It is just like he is straight up gay and wants and has a big crush on him. But yeah, it had a few bad episodes that went on, and it went on for like longer than it needed to. Like, I feel like the series would be really good if it was like 6 episodes, or if it was like 12 episodes, like 12 minutes, 10 minutes each, maybe, if it was like a smaller series like that. Also, maybe it would have been better if I watched it week to week instead of binging it in 2 weeks, as I think that's kind of like what this is made for. But even still, I feel like it would be even worse if I was watching it week by week, because then like a bad episode, like episode 7, would like sit with me for an entire week until the next episode comes out. So there's advantages and disadvantages to binging it. But yeah, there were a couple bad episodes. I would actually, now that I think about it, say that binging it would negate the bad episodes more than if you watched it week by week. I don't know why I have my headphones on when I don't have any headphone audio. But yeah, I like the show generally. Its base level is pretty good. And it does have some pretty good peaks, but it has some really bad valleys. Like, there are some episodes that are just like a falling asleep boring, like episode 11, I think. Episode 7 and episode 11. 7-11 was the worst episodes, where I'm like, this is so boring. This did not need to be an entire episode. What the fudge? This feels like filler. And for a slice of life episode to feel like filler, that's a lot. But again, when it's good, it is good, and I generally like it, and it doesn't have that bad low lows, so I don't know. I think overall, I think this is a certified 6 or 7 show. Like, it's a certified 6-7 show. Like a high 6, light 7. Because again, that's not a bad score, because like I did like it. There were some good parts of it. It just A, didn't try to do that much, and B, like the scale of the show was like already like down key. So unless they really went hard on like the slice of life aspect of it, I couldn't see it being higher than like an 8 anyway. And also it had some really boring episodes, and having a couple of boring episodes is not that bad, but it is really, like, for a short series, like 13 episodes, like 2 or 3 bad episodes is like a fourth of the series. So I think a 6 or a 7 is good. You know what? I'll round it up. I rounded up for the Yuri. I rounded up Bloom into You. So I will round this up to a solid 7. Because I think, because again, especially now that I talk about it, like, the filler episodes are okay, the bad episodes are okay, and if you're binging it, it's not that big of an issue. So yeah, I'll give the show a solid 7. It is, which is a good score. It is not great. I don't think I would want to rewatch this show anytime soon, if at all. But I did not regret watching the show. And I can imagine if you're more into boys love or yaoi, then you would get a lot more mileage. Because I remember back in the day when there weren't even any good high quality Yuri shows. Like, I would take anything that I could get. So if you are hungry for a high quality slice of life boys love show, like, this is good. This is really good. If this is what you're looking for. It's just, you know, specifically what I'm looking for is something more complex, maybe, I guess. I don't know how to say that without sounding pretentious. I wish it was more consistent. That's all I have to say. But it's good for what it is. So it gets a solid 7. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the discussion for Ganbare Nakamura-Kun. Then that brings us to the end of Pride Month. I'm officially ending Pride Month. I know Pride Month goes on for 2 more days, but I'm ending Pride Month now. Because the next anime that we will be covering is... we're doing Witch Hat Atelier. Because I'm very curious about this. It is a relatively new anime. Has a lot of hype around it. Has magic and I think it's cool. Yay! No, is this what you wanted, Tevin? No! I did this not for you. You get it. You're still on a 2-month ban of recommending anime. I just did this because it is a relatively new anime and it literally just finished airing. Like this, Nakamura-Kun also just finished airing, but this also literally just finished airing. So yeah, the only thing that I know about this show is that it's has really pretty animation, and the author is based because she has a Blue Sky account and she made a post saying Happy Pride Month. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Pride Month never effing ends. Blah, 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 blah. Hold on, let me find that post. Here it is. Yeah, this is the Witch Hat Atelier's official Blue Sky account, which just like having a Blue Sky account is already based, but also having a Blue Sky account posting Happy Pride Month and pictures of 2 guys from the series, I'm assuming, cuddling up is very base. So that's all I know about the series, is that the author is cool. Do I want to get into that rant? Okay, fine, I'll get into that rant. Okay, people are always like, why do you always have to bring up the fact of if somebody supports Pride Month or not? Why do you care? Listen, yes, I know, generally, for art, like, unless it's about, like, the queer experience, it doesn't necessarily matter if the author is pro-LGBT or not. But, like, isn't it kind of nice to know that the person making the art doesn't want you dead? Like, isn't that kind of nice to know? Like, isn't it nice to not have to think about it and think like, I do like this person's art a lot, but like, do they want me dead? Do they want my rights stripped away? Like, because as much as I like Hololive, and some Hololive members have talked about supporting LGBT stuff, there are some Hololive members that have just like not mentioned it one way or another at all. So and that's fine, like they can do that if they want, if they don't want to bring politics into it. But like every time I watch them, it's in the back of my head, I'm like, does this girl want me dead? Does this girl want my rights stripped away? She probably doesn't, but I can't be for sure. I can't know for sure unless she says something. So yeah, that's why I think it's important to speak up about supporting queer people, because it's just nice to know as a viewer, as a consumer of the arts. It's just nice to know. It's just nice to know that, like, hey, I'm reading something, I'm watching something where the creator does not want me dead. It's just good to know. I don't assume that everyone wants me dead, but, you know, there's always a thought in the back of my head. So it's just good to know. Atelier. Is it Atelier? Witch Hat. Let's look at the Japanese. Not witch hat. Witch hat. TCH hat. Donbori boshi no atoria. Atorie. 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 Atelier. Atelier? But in English you would pronounce it Utelier? Utelier? Where's the A? Where's the U sound coming from? Why is it not atelier and not... Also, where's the R at the end of that word? Are you sure it's Utelier? Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Is it atelier or Utelier? But yeah, that will be the next one. I think that has a dub. I think I'll watch the dub. Because I want to look at the pretty animation. Who plays the dub? No one I recognize. They got a non-binary person playing the main character. And I see some people with blue hair, so that's always a good sign. I say this unironically. But I don't recognize any of them. I don't recognize anyone in the Japanese version. No, this guy was Tanjiro. Quifri? It's a French word, you hick! Okay, I take your word for it. Okay, I take your word for it. Hold on, let me get my headphones back on.
Atelier.
Atelier.
Atelier. Atelier. Atelier.
Atelier. Atelier. I would like to issue a formal apology to Tevin1111 in chat. I am so fucking sorry. I thought I knew, but I didn't know, but now I know better, and I'm so sorry, and please, and I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I will pronounce it I will try to, I can't promise that I will pronounce it properly from now on, but I will do my fucking best. Anyway, next discussion will be on July 12th. We'll watch Witch Hat Utelier. Of course, not even I knew how to pronounce Quifly when I was reading the manga. That's another reason to watch the dub, or else you're gonna butcher the names. Exactly. That's why you watch the dub. You know, watch the dub, because there's a great choice there. I'm not gonna say much, but the dub doesn't something that the Japanese version doesn't do with the voices. Does it have accents? I love fucking dubs that have accents. There was a dub of an anime. I forget, it was like a light novel, whatever, anime. Harem light novel anime, but the two main characters were from Japan and they went to Britain to go to like a magic school or whatever, and everyone but the main characters had like British voices, and I fucking loved it. K-free, that's crazy. But yeah, I'll watch the dub, but like if there's like a line that pops up, I will check the Japanese version too. If there's a line that like kind of sticks out to me. Like when Nakamura-Kun said I'm gay, I'm like, did he say that in the Japanese version too? And I just quickly checked. That's another reason to watch the dub. You're gonna butcher the names. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do that. And also potentially, I'm not gonna promise anything, but potentially Bleach might be returning with Bleach the movie Fade to Black, because Azred might be alive and might be wanting to do things again. I'll just say all the native magic users have European accents to make Coco not belong. Coco has a normal American accent. Don't say normal American accent. Don't call American accent normal. But yeah, Bleach discussion also might happen at some point. I've already watched everything I needed for that, so Bleach will not interrupt the other anime discussion schedules. Because I've already seen everything. Because the things that we have left are 3 discussions of the ending of the series, the Arrancar flashback, the Ukiura fight, the Fake Katakura fight, and then the final fight with Aizen. And I've already watched everything up to that point and have notes for it. And then we have 2 more movies, and those are just watch-alongs, so they will not interrupt. So Bleach may or may not return at some point, soon TM, but it will not interrupt the, where'd my legs go? It will not interrupt the regular, the Matrix is falling apart. The Matrix is falling apart. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Bleach might be back. If you want to get caught up on, if you want to watch Bleach, make sure you have the movie. For some reason, our watch along of the second movie is now my most viewed VOD on my channel. It just keeps getting views. I don't know. Are people thinking that it's the actual movie and not looking at the word watch along? I don't know. I don't know. No. A lot of them seem to be played by actual British actors. Maybe that's why I don't recognize anyone on the voice cast, because they're all British actors. But we talked about last time about how Crystal in Star Fox Assault was not played by a British actor, even though she's had a British accent. Honestly, you find subtitles, because I don't have anything when I was watching. What the fuck are we talking about? Can you, hey Tevin, can you try that sentence one more time? Honestly, you find subtitles, because I don't have any when I was watching. I should find, like, closed captioning, you mean? Like, dub titles, are you talking about? Anime is very inconsistent about what they call that. Like, because there's subtitles to be made to be watched with the Japanese version. That's a translation of the Japanese script. And then there's dub titles, which is just a direct transcription of the English dub text. And back in the day, like English releases of anime would only include the dub titles. So we had really bad subtitles if you wanted to watch it. Hopefully you find subtitles, because I didn't have any when I was watching. Let's see if I have it. I don't know. Hold on. Un momento kudasai. Chotto mate kudasai. Let me just pull up my legal streaming website and see if it has dub titles. I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. It has English forced, English, and English. Whatever the fuck that means. So hopefully one of these English tracks are dub titles. But if I really need to know what the characters are saying, I can just switch to the Japanese version. Amazing! I can just switch to the... If I really want to know what a character is saying, I can just switch to the Japanese version for that, like, one line. It's fine. It's daijobu. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm going to effing bed. Actually going to bed on time. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go to bed and then not go to bed for another effing year. another half hour. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Nakamura, Ganbare Nakamura-Kun, 7 out of 10. It's very good. Even though it has some boring episodes, it's overall good. Witch Hat Utelier discussion in 2 weeks from now on July 12th. If you want to be a part of that discussion and don't want spoilers, then make sure to watch that series before then. And the return of Bleach at some point soon. And then as far as my streams are concerned, the rest of my normal streams are concerned, the next stream will be Tuesday with my 200 subscribers special. Even though, hold on, how long has it been since I got 200 subscribers? Because I'm at 280 now. 6 months ago. So I have a poll of what do you want me to do for the 200 sub special stream, and I will just look at that on the day of. You will have until the day of, until the reservation slot for the YouTube goes up. You will have until the day of to continue voting on that. We'll see what happens. Currently, it's between Soda Dungeon and Undertale. Undertale currently winning, but you never know what could happen. Soda Dungeon could make a comeback at the last second. We'll see. We'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, that is what will happen. And then also this Friday, Kid Icarus Uprising with viewers. With Chrome, probably, if Chrome's available, because Chrome's usually available on Fridays. So if you want to play Kid Icarus Uprising, mod your 3DS, because that's literally the only way to play online Uprising now that the servers are gone. So I cannot tell you how to do that, but get Pretendo work up and running. And if you're Nintendo, forget you heard that. Don't look that up. Don't DMCA that, please. Let us just put, if Nintendo's listening, Kid Icarus Uprising HD on Switch 2, please. With mouse controls and gyro aiming, please. Please. Onegaishimasu. 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 But yeah, I'm ending. I gotta go sleep. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to if you did enjoy the stream and you want to support me, make sure to follow, subscribe on YouTube, like the video on YouTube, also go to my link tree where I have literally everything, all the platforms I'm on there. I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on something else, I don't remember. It's all in the link tree. I'm still doing daily clips on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. So yeah, do all that if you want to support me, and thank you so much. And Indie Game Arc will be next, and Witch Hat Atelier, the next arc might be Bleach / Indie Arc, we'll see. Is Soda Dungeon an indie game? It has to be an indie game. Anyway, whatever. I will see you all later. I hope you all enjoyed. Support art, support artists. Be kind to yourself, be nice to others. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Have a good rest of your times. And until next time, stay fresh, cheese bags. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Okay, I love you all. Goodbye.